Hello guys, my name is Patrice and today I would like to talk about the new patch and the new update. I've seen a lot of videos already covering the patch and all the information that needs to be known, so I'm not going to be going over the same bits. What I would like to cover though is Gibraltar and Caustic and the new buff that they received. If we go at the Reddit page, if you didn't see the update page, I'll leave it down in the description. But it says Caustic receives fortified passive perk attack, reduces damage taken by 10%, and same Gibraltar also receives the same fortified passive perk. By reducing the 10% damage. Gibraltar's gun shield has also health increased from 50 to 75, and Caustic gas damage per tick increased from 1 to 4, and ultimate throw distance from 28 meters to 33 meters, which is amazing. I think it would be also really nice if they would increase Gibraltar's ultimate, but maybe that would be a bit too strong. Straight away after this update, I was playing Caustic and Gibraltar like non-stop, only Caustic and only Gibraltar, and from my experience of playing them right now all the time, I can say that they are actually pretty decent right now, especially Gibraltar. I know that everybody loves Caustic and everyone always picks Caustic before Gibraltar, but in my case, I really love Gibraltar's ultimate, so I pick him. I think that this update should have been added ages ago and pretty much from the start. I don't know what took them so long, because it was really obvious what needs to be done and that they are like big guys, they're supposed to be tanky, you know, but now they can actually be tanks and be actual what they represent to be, like, which is tanks with that little shield as a defensive pick. From the experience that I gained by playing him for like past 2 days pretty much, is that like by playing Gibraltar and Caustic at the same time, is that actually they're really decent right now, and a lot of times, like if you are up close with a like enemy that has Peacekeeper or something, you're not gonna get one-shotted and you're not gonna get like immediately deleted. That still might happen time to time because 10% isn't that big of a buff, but if you have like any kind of armor, like right, even white armor, that means like you have 150 health. 10% is actually 15 health, so by like you consume pretty much like 2 pallets from Eva 8 for example, or 1.5 pallet from Peacekeeper. I think Peacekeeper does 10 damage per shot, well, per the pallet. And from that experience gained, like there's so many times when up close the battles I would be fighting and I would be like having, I don't know, about like pretty much like 15, 20 health left, you know, or 10 health left. And if you look at those bits the same way, like that 10% of like decreased damage, then if that 10% wouldn't be there, I would have been dead already. So that 10% actually does help a lot. And this is not all, this is not everything. What they say right here is that over the week or 2 following this change, we will be watching how they perform with this additional protection and aggressively tuning if they are still underpowered relatively to their size. Our goal is to ensure both legends are viable picks by the end of this process. So if this is still like weak, if this is still not good enough, by the end of like next week, or they said like week or 2, it'll be increased to like 15%, or I don't think it's going to be increased to 20% because 20% sounds a lot to me, but like 15%, 16%, 18%, something like that, right? 11%, I don't know, 12%. But if this will be considered really strong and too powerful, then they will tune it down. The same thing, they'll be like, they make it 5% or 6%. So during those 2 weeks that they will be closely checking right now and testing it, they'll be following all the matches and stuff. By the end of this like process, they will make it perfect, hopefully. And by the end of this process, Gibraltar and Caustic will actually be a very decent picks. Even that it might actually cause them increase their armor but decrease something else, maybe decrease their skills or make it a bit worse, I don't know. But in general, I'm pretty happy that they're getting fixed and that they're getting worked on, because it's been quite long that they've been left out, you know. During those 2 weeks, I'll be playing Gibraltar and Caustic pretty much all the time. I'll be trying to play them as much as I can, just to help to get my own feeling for it and see if they actually like too strong or too weak, and to help the developers get the feeling for it, to know what to do with it, either buff it or nerf it. Since this update went live, I pretty much see Gibraltar and Caustic picked every single game. Every time I'm trying to play, somebody would pick Gibraltar or Caustic, and enemies would always have Gibraltar in it. Like, usually I don't really expect Gibraltar's ult to be landed on top of me, but right now, after this patch being added into the game, it happens more and more often. Like pretty much every second game there would be a Gibraltar's ult thrown somewhere near me. So it gets a bit dangerous right now, but I'm sure people gonna get used to it eventually, just like they got used to Mirage and everybody else. So if more people will be playing Gibraltar now, everyone will get used to the ultimate eventually, and it will be easy to run out. Currently his ultimate is still super amazing in my opinion, and every time I land on an enemy you can see them just shattering, and they shield, just destroying the shields and stuff. It's pretty decent. They added a lot of other little like buffs to and the weapon like balancing in general, which is, I'm really happy to see all this balancing happening now, because it has been ages, you know, it has been really long. They've been like putting it away for really long. I don't know why. It's either because they like work on Jedi right now, or they just don't have enough team for this game or something. I don't know why it's been taking them so long. What I'm happy to see is that G7 Scout, Triple Take and Longbow are receiving some buffs. Yeah, you can check it all down in the description actually by going to the link, or I'm pretty sure you probably already read it or seen other videos about it. Longbow is actually getting a buff, which is pretty decent, because there was like literally no point picking Longbow instead of like Wingman. Wingman would always be like better pick. So I'm happy to see that they buffed Longbow and nerfed Wingman. Havoc actually made magazine size from Havoc went from 25 to 32. And the point is that Havoc was already pretty strong under Turbocharger. But now with 32 rounds, Havoc is going to be like so much better, because with 25 bullets you would have to make your shots count, and if you would miss you would pretty much be like in disadvantage. But with 32 shots you're allowed to at least miss like 5-6 shots, you know, like whilst you're shooting the enemy. So that's really good buff for Havoc. I think a lot of people gonna start playing Havoc a bit more now. Spitfire got like a tiny nerf. It's not too big, it's just like a tiny, but it's already decent, because Spitfire is a really strong weapon apparently, and apparently a lot of people loved it. I loved it myself, so it's good that they kind of nerfing like really strong stuff. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much everything. That's the most important stuff. So Gibraltar and Caustic receiving those fortified 10% damage reduction and a little bit buff of the skills. Gun shield health is from 50 to 75 now, which is really decent, and it kind of almost always will survive 2 shots from stronger weapons like Wingman. But it was always decent. I think it was always really good, like the shield. It was just something that you wouldn't really use as much, because you never actually go up like super close, you know, just aim down towards an enemy. But yeah, the biggest things is this fortified perk, which I'm like really glad they did it. And as I said again, I don't know what took them so long, since it was pretty much an obvious thing that needs to be added. They're big guys, you know, they're like tanks in the game, so they have to have more health or whatever, like damage reduction, more health, more armor, I don't know, whichever. So they went with this, and by the end of these 2 weeks we're gonna see exactly how it's gonna end. Maybe it'll be like 8% instead of 10, or 15% instead of 10, but we'll see what they're exactly gonna do with it, and hopefully it will make them a good picks, because I do like playing Gibraltar and Caustic. They're quite fun. That's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. Mainly the passive. I've been playing them for a while now, and I'll be carrying on playing them during those 2 weeks. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe and all that good stuff. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.